Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining us for this rearranged Hack DeFi ideation event. I'm Anthony, the CEO of Encode, and although we are quite deep into the hackathon with submissions in 11 days time, I'm going to talk to you about the general kind of stuff to do with generating an idea and give you some ideas as well, things I'd quite like to see in Hack DeFi. As a reminder, in Hack DeFi you can build whatever you want, pretty much anything related to, broadly to be fair, blockchain, but specifically DeFi. And thank you very much to Wintermute for sponsoring this event. Please do join the Discord. Omji will put it into chat if you're not already part of the Discord, and use that to ask any questions you may have. Omji from our team is also here to do calls with you, to discuss your ideas and provide support. So if you do have any questions, please do tell Omji and arrange a call. And if you have any questions for me during this event, I will have chat open, and feel free to share your ideas. In general, you can see I stole this slide because it's not today. Submissions on the 14th of November, and the finale will take place a few weeks later. We have another 11 days or so, which is plenty of time, pretty much 10x what you normally have in a hackathon, so plenty of time to do your project, even if you haven't got an idea as yet. Cool. So by the 14th, you need to submit 3 things: a demo, code base, and an optional presentation. After that, code base should be in a GitHub form, but after that, you do whatever you want. And we're fairly flexible with what you want to submit, and we hopefully see some cool creative things. So let us, I'm going to try and be quick and to the point today, guys. So let us start with what is DeFi. So what DeFi in general is what it means is decentralized finance, and specifically we're talking about this kind of new age of finance that is kind of taking place, in which we empower people to do cool stuff, to own actually the underlying protocols that people use, and in general have a completely different way of having a relationship to money. To understand decentralized finance, we first need to understand finance in general. And so, particularly in finance, what we're talking about here, the finance we're trying to disrupt starts with the definition of money. And money, obviously, we use as a means of exchange. It's how we value things. And in crypto, we kind of change the way money works. So traditionally, money is something whereby money is effectively, or the way money maintained is by a ledger, by a spreadsheet. It's like, I need to, the central bank confirms that I have this much, and Omji has this much, and this person over here has this much. And when we move money, particularly by bank transfer, what's actually happening there is that someone is effectively saying, changing the spreadsheet, say I have this much money less, and if I've sent it to Omji, Omji has this much money more. Once you've got this kind of conception of money and this idea of money is kind of run by banks, you can start understanding that this can be quite an inefficient process, and it requires human intervention in the middle. And every financial product that then emerges and a whole financial system is itself a product of this, and needs central control built in and entities built in, like banks. And when you see, like, if you look into a financial capital and the city and the kind of big skyscrapers, they're kind of epitomes of like big kind of organizations needing to run money. And when we think about decentralized finance, one of the main core tenets is that we are rebuilding the system with code, not with people. And you can trust the code, and the code effectively is the central party. But of course, code kind of works for no man. And that is the train tracks on which we're kind of trying to rebuild our conception of money. So this is what the first thing to kind of have in mind is that DeFi effectively is a completely new monetary system. And I don't want to get into any kind of the philosophy or the politics of it. One can think that DeFi is a very bad idea, but also saying this is really cool, and that for value to be transferred and to do this all with code is cool. And we've been able to build some really cool applications with it. In general, it's worth kind of understanding, what does a crypto society look like? And in general, that is, we have to think about the principles of crypto. And again, this is, by the way, very first principle stuff, but I think quite useful. And in general, it's this basic, is this already thing I said, which is code is law. And furthermore, that rather than building companies and entities as kind of centrally owned and almost no, I won't go that far, but essentially owned, we start by building frameworks like protocols and networks that are owned by a lot of people because they're much, much bigger and are fundamentally decentralized. They have no central party. The code is what governs them. You have individuals who are self-sovereign, so that they don't have to rely on anyone to take part in the system. It's permissionless, it's open. And with these principles, you basically have, with DeFi, and a lot of you already know this, if you have protocols that do lots of different things, you can start using them as effectively Lego blocks to build other cool things. And in this hackathon, you should always see yourself as building something out of Lego, because you're using different constituent parts to build an even cool new financial thing. In general, protocols, and whenever you build a hackathon project, should be invisible to the end user. So the fact that you're using a protocol that users shouldn't really see, and that should be abstracted away and to be a clean user experience. And indeed, when we talk about Web3, we're talking about having a completely new internet experience that is built with protocols and networks in a decentralized manner, but the whole overall efficiency at the front end, it looks very clean and fantastic. In general, what I want you, and again, we haven't spoken on specific ideas yet, which we will in a moment. I want you to shy away from building. Well, I think someone might be unmuted, so just have a watch of that. In general, I want you to shy away from using crypto to solve real world problems. I want you to actually start from I've realized my microphone's not plugged in. I've just realized that. Give me a second. So that means I was using my webcam. 1 second. That's funny. Omji, can you hear me nicely?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that was funny. So I should be able to hear me a little bit better now. So in general, for crypto for the real, I don't want you to build projects that solve real world problems yet, and we'll talk about why you can use problems within the crypto world and using crypto kind of building blocks to solve crypto problems and build, if anything, real world solutions for crypto problems rather than crypto solutions for real world problems. And in general, it's because of a few things. One, custody is a problem. In that I have a ledger, it's sitting here, and my ledger is something that I am responsible for, and if I lose it, I lose my private keys, like I lose my money, and there's no real safeguards yet for that. And that is a hard user experience for people to get used to. It's not something that everyone's grandparents could use, for instance. So in the short run, you can't really solve big real world problems until we have a solution towards custody. So that's what makes it hard in the first place. Second of all, just onboarding people into the way crypto works and educating them, it's not obvious. There are lots of things to learn. It's a completely different way of thinking. This takes time and it's not obviously intuitive. Fiat gateways, it's if real world means paying for stuff in pounds, dollars, euros, yen, then these don't always, the ability to go from crypto to fiat doesn't naturally exist right now. Well, it does exist, but it's not super fast, and there is always regulation added in, and it's actually quite costly to do so. So for all these reasons, trying to use crypto solutions to solve, like, I don't know, build new trading engines for real world assets, or like have government bonds be on the blockchain or things like that. It's kind of hard to do right now, and not where the fast, quick innovation kind of lives. These are my kind of general points, and I think most people in this hackathon I know already aren't doing the kind of real world solution. They're building crypto things, and this was an ideation event, so I'm going to give you ideas, and this is basically a cheat code for doing well in the hackathon. And so maybe if you haven't got an idea, this is great, or if you want to do another idea as well, or you add this to your current idea, I'm going to give you some general thoughts here. First thing is governance is a big thing. I know politics. It's about the only thing I know anything about in life, political systems. And when I look at crypto governance, it's completely a mess. And particularly what I mean by governance, and I'm actually going to show you some products. With governance in crypto at the moment for things like DAOs, etc., we use a combination of things. So in general, discussion happens on Discord. We all know Discord. We all love Discord. And that is one thing. Okay, like it's not the perfect forum for it, but people use Discord. And if they want to go to something, if they want to kind of discuss something in depth, they use forums. So let's just kind of find Float Protocol. They use a forum like this. And this is a more structured way to discuss stuff. Again, we're still in the discussion bit of governance. It's going to be slow. Hopefully it speeds up. Speed up. Speed up. Yeah, so, and you can see in this case, there's not that many people engaging. And then when you have a vote, you use something called snapshots, which plugs into your wallets. Effectively, you can like indicate a vote. It's not like doing a transaction, and yeah, you can fund stuff. That's cool. And then eventually, when you want to actually move money, you can use something called a multi-sig. And what a multi-sig does is it is a smart contract where multiple people have to sign a transaction for money to be moved. So in this case, this is the Float one, because in code are related to Float and help out. Or rather, we are advisors to Float and supporters of Float, and so we're on the multi-sig. And so in code is one vote of many to move funds, and you can see the funds here. So this altogether is a fairly clunky user experience, and every protocol needs to do governance. So someone who innovate any part of this process, but ideally kind of merges some of it together, will do extremely well. So that's immediately something to innovate on and do better. And anyone who's kind of like experienced Discord at scale, different protocols, know it's a complete mess. So governance, I'd love to see stuff. In general, this hackathon has a very unique quality, which is that you can build on any chain. We're chain agnostic. So just taking ETH applications and putting them onto new chains is like just such a simple formula. So take Aave and build it on another protocol, take Compound and build it on another protocol, a Solana, an Avalanche, a Near, Algorand, any one of these. Go and like build Snapshot for one of them, like anything that's popular within the Ethereum ecosystem, build it on another chain, particularly the EVM compatible chains, and the things like there's Harmony as well, EVM compatible. So this is just such an easy cheat in this hackathon for like, because you basically know what an application should look like. If you're copying it from Ethereum, you kind of know what the user flow should be, you know what the functionality should be, you know people want it. So yeah, this is like an obvious like trick if you want an idea. Take a popular Ethereum thing that doesn't exist in another chain, or even does exist, and do it better, or do a version of it. Other thing is, as I talked about, real world solutions for crypto problems is the way to think about it, not crypto solutions for real world problems. And so take traditional world products and put them into crypto. The example of this is, so like Aave does lending, and lending obviously is something that obviously you and I need to use if we want to lend money, but also kind of big banks need to use, and Aave effectively does it for everyone. This is one example. You get more complicated products like people building interest rate swaps and things that look like CDOs. And if anyone has ever watched The Big Short, go in, like watch a financial movie, see a cool financial product and be like, does that exist in crypto? Nexus Mutual has built insurance on the blockchain. I hate saying on the blockchain. It sounds so 2017. But they've like built an insurance mutual on the blockchain. So like all of these things, just go and look at different bits of finance and be like, why doesn't that exist? Okay, could I really build something like that in crypto? I think someone recently just raised a lot of money just by saying the words interest swap AMM. So like, yeah, debt swaps, like swapping debt would be like a cool thing to do. Yeah, loads of stuff. So that is a cool thing. Another obvious area is custody and wallets. In general, the user experience of crypto is such, as I said earlier, like if you lose your keys in your ledger, you're done for. So anyone who's kind of innovating in the wallet space, and like there are obviously some good ones, like MetaMask is popular, but the likes of Argent, are trying to build like a really like buttery smooth wallet experience, but like a better wallet, or like in particular like better ways of doing custody, dead man switches. So like what happens if you die? How do people get access to your crypto? All of these things like should be thought about and taken care of. So have a think about those, and or better ways of doing onboarding and user experience in crypto. Like, can you build a user experience to get people to buy their first crypto that is inbuilt educational? That'd be a cool startup. Gaming is such an obvious one as well. This kind of goes into the NFT things, and I know we have an NFT hackathon going on as well that some of you might even be taking part in. But gaming is such an obvious place to look as well. A cool game, like I've seen one recently. This is, or rather, we work with invested in Footium. That's a super cool game. And in general, we've obviously seen this big thing of the metaverse recently. And what that means, and to some extent the metaverse kind of means like having being inside a gaming experience, and you can start and then obviously with the NFT side of things you can start in building ownership of assets, and have an identity that's like a digital identity. Your wallet is effectively a digital identity. You can have an NFT of your identity. So gaming is like such a big area, and like obviously all of these games are going to have inbuilt financial systems as well. So if you want to build a cool game or build an add-on to a game, like one of the most popular games in crypto is Axie Infinity. It's so bad when you play it. Kind of yeah, it's just quite bad. Personal opinion, maybe someone swears by it. But this is like super cool. So like go and have a look at this. A cool thing that someone from actually the Encode community built, like this is like a cool game someone's building called Legends of Venari. Yeah, they've kind of built something really, really cool. So gaming is another kind of alternative way of looking at DeFi and cool things to do. In general, let's also look at what people have previously built on some hackathons, again, to give you some inspiration and to talk about ideas. And I've just got up a previous hackathon just to kind of talk through stuff. Revert Finance is doing LP analytics. This is an Encode portfolio company, and analytics on like your trading positions is like such a cool thing to do. Revert doing it very well. Anything in the analytics space, other cool things to look at. And again, just going to try and give you general inspiration. That is not what I wanted to go to. I want to go to Dex Guru. I think this is such a nice user experience. This shows I'm looking at X1 clearly. This shows you get like these little turtles for indicating how much the person trades. You got a very clear idea of volume and liquidity. It's just like a very nice experience. Like on the kind of analytics thing. And obviously you've got things like Nansen as well. Yeah, that give you kind of like very nice. So like analytics is like such an easy place to go. And then stablecoin innovation, I still think there's a massive there. So Float Protocol, we've actually had two big protocols on the stablecoin side come out of Encode. Oh my God, why is the internet slow? You've got Float Protocol here that we can load Reflex Labs up while we're doing it. In general with stablecoins, this basically comes back to the kind of core thing with DeFi, which is DeFi starts, not on this browser, not going to make it, on a different browser, I have fancy. Anyway, you've completely made me lose my trail of thought now. If crypto is going to be money, or crypto, if the first use case is as money and everything's built around money, we need stable coins. And stable coins are currencies that coins that stay pegged to some sense of stable value. And we're going to need ones, and we're going to need monetary systems built around them, and they're going to need to be resilient because this is what everyone denominates themselves in eventually. So Rye has done some very cool things. We won't go to the mechanism. Float as well. But I still think there's innovation in the stablecoin game. And if anyone's seen OHM and all that malarkey, you'll know no one's quite got it right, or maybe the incentives aren't there to get it completely right. Let's go more. Another cool thing we've seen recently is Gearbox Finance. Let's go load slowly. Slow them fast. Come on. And this is leverage and leveraging for using on protocols. And this, again, like a very classic example. Leverage is a very kind of traditional financial world thing, and bring it into crypto. And credit systems and allowing people to borrow way beyond the collateral they have is something we need to figure out how to do in crypto. And to do it, you need to do reputation. And yeah, that's, again, there's an innovation area there for sure. I was going to say something else, but have I forgotten? Yeah, I've forgotten, unfortunately. Yeah. So Gearbox is also extremely cool. What else? We've got some games here. And flash loans. Let us find one more thing. Let me look on a different browser. Encode. Okay, let's do the same thing with different hackathon. Again, this also gives you an idea of the standard of things that are built as well. This is Moments, which is kind of, I don't know if that's still going. Autographed NFTs. Again, NFTs isn't explicitly something to go for on this particular hackathon. You absolutely can, but it's just maybe focusing more if you're going to do NFTs on the gaming side. Things like let us find ETHSign is like a really cool example. So ETHSign does basically DocuSign on the blockchain, and all of these things, because one of the things you want to understand, everything in crypto is DeFi, is because everything has an incentive layer. And so everything has a financial layer. And that is because if you're going to keep something decentralized as a protocol, you need incentives for people to abide by the rules of that protocol and stick together and do stuff for the benefit of the protocol. So in generality, everything in crypto is DeFi fundamentally, because you have this incentive layer. So this is a good example of, like, in fact, this is kind of solving a real world problem, but in general, like using crypto and using the protocol approach to change kind of company building. So maybe if you do want to go down the real world approach, go and look at the most popular service tools and kind of rebuild them based on crypto principles, particularly on the storage side, just because file storage, we have things like IPFS, and we have things like Arweave, and we can now very easily store stuff in a decentralized manner across lots of different nodes around the world. And so for that reason, anything that has storage built in or data built in, you can rebuild with crypto principles. Okie doke. It was only ever meant to be a kind of short, sharp workshop to kind of introduce you, give you some general ideas. And my next step is, depending on if there's any questions or anything, is to implore you to take a call with Omji. She's very nice, she won't bite, and talk about your ideas. If you don't have an idea yet, she'll help you kind of ideate one, and she'll also be very honest, like with anyone in the team. If we don't think your idea is quite up to scratch, she'll tell you also. So please do feel free to book a call with Omji. And she'll happily can help you, or just ping me anytime, Anthony Beaumont on the Discord. And we've seen tons and tons of projects come out of Encode, and really the opportunity is hugely there for you to get funding afterwards also. So I promise this will be short. Any questions for anyone? Of course, you can ask questions on the Discord as well, and I will pick them up, or you can ask me privately. This event will go onto the YouTube and the Medium for consumption tomorrow, and in perpetuity. Looks like no questions, so thank you very much, everyone. I'm really sorry for rearranging this. I was sick, unfortunately, still kind of recovering, hence the brevity of this workshop. But thank you very much for coming. We hope you do some great things. The opportunity is huge, and I will see you all very shortly. Recording will be live tomorrow for everyone's enjoyment. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening and see you all soon.